Hello, people. How you doing today? As you can see, Dom has his show going. We have ours. It's simultaneous, and we're working together. And just so you do know, um, today you can ask questions from the chat room. And let me introduce James. Of course, you guys know James well, and you probably didn't expect Dominic to be here. Dominic, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Just waiting for my intro to go through, and then we'll be off to the races. We're good?
Okay.
Yep,
We're live?
we're
We are
live.
live.
Hey guys, good morning, afternoon, and good evening, or good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Today's special guests, I have Lee Cole and James Proctor on. Yes, I do. And I'll explain everything after this brief sponsorship announcement. Everybody, EG Vodka, excellent vodka, 100% organic, gluten-free. Great tasting vodka, premium vodka, average price. Also, we have alwayslitcigars.com. Go to Always Lit Cigars, get your hand-rolled cigars, order them now. Great cigars. So, everybody, I know we probably shocked the internet with this one. Um, I James Proctor had reached out to me via email. Nice correspondence. I replied back. So I figured let's put our differences aside. Like I said, everybody deserves second chances. They came at me really hard in the beginning, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But at the end of the day, I felt I was given a second chance myself at life to start over again, and I'm making the most out of it. And I've been watching their show periodically, and they changed their format a lot. They did a 160-degree turnaround with their content, and I commend you guys for it.
Thank you.
No, you're really doing a great job. They hate rats. Don't like. I shouldn't use the word hate. Yeah, well, I'll use it for that. For the
We,
ratting
we,
itself, they
we, dis-
dislike.
we dislike what informants have done, but more than anything, it's more like when informants come on and attack the people that they put away. That's
Okay,
what really bothers us more than
okay.
anything.
But they also took, and correct me if I'm wrong, more of a neutral stance now,
Yes.
where you're
Yes.
being fair. And I respect that. Everybody has their opinion, and I'm okay with that. So, with that, we did put our differences aside, and we're going to create something where we're going to be talking about helping kids, where now the kids will hear my stories and trying to get them away from the life. And they could hear it from their perspective as well. James and Lee could talk about it because they're not seeing eye to eye with me. There is going to be controversy, but they can explain to kids, look at Dominic, look what he made of himself, look where he was, look what he's considered. And it shows them we're getting together. We're going to be talking about sexual harassment. We're going to be talking about suicide. We're going to be talking health and getting together, showing we put our differences aside. And that's the problem with nowadays with social media and everything, even our politicians. And it's a disgrace out there. I'll go into that after this. And I apologize, gentlemen, that I didn't give you guys a chance
No,
No, that's
no. Hey,
to do
fine.
listen,
your intro.
we got no.
Okay.
Today, having you on here is our intro. That we don't have to say
All
much.
right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And guys, you can go to the Lee Cole show, Lee Cole the third. Their content has elevated. They're on another level now, and I commend them again for that.
Thank you.
But like I was saying, our discussions were let's do better. And like I was saying, I'll go back to the politicians. I remember growing up, you had your Democrats, you had your Republicans, and yet they had different views, different opinions, but they always met in the middle for the people. Nowadays, I think social media has put everything in the spotlight. Nobody's willing to bend anymore, and that's not right. That's not fair for the people out there because the politicians are elected to help the people and better society, and yet they're not. So if we could show people, everybody, the world, we put our differences aside for a better cause, it should help because it's really not fair. We can come together. We could have different views on things. You might not like what I've done in the past, And I don't like what you guys did in the past to me, where I turned around when you first came out about me. I'm like, I hate these guys. And then I had to step back.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why do I hate them? What do I hate about them? I don't know them to hate them.
Right.
And that's just the issue I'm trying to bring. We're trying to bring.
Mhm.
It's okay to be opinionated and have different opinions. And with that, my show, I don't want negativity. I'll call somebody out real quick.
Right.
And even when James says, I saw in one of his shows where they were talking about me bashing or hating or talking bad about, say, Vinny. And I'll say this for the record. I'm talking about what he did. I still, as a person, I love the guy. We were close. We were with each other every day, at
Right.
least 20 hours a day. We were tied to the hip. So as a person, I still care for the guy, but I don't like the position he put me in.
Right.
And I'll just elaborate real quick if you guys don't mind. Because
please.
after this, what we're going to do, Lee's going to take live questions, hit me with questions from his audience, my audience. We're combining everything. His show is live, my show is live. So we're showing the world, YouTubers, we can get along. People can come to a mutual agreement, even though you might not like what I did, I didn't like the way they came at me, but we got together. And Mafia
Yeah.
Roundtable was created for this purpose, to have different views, different opinions. I don't have to sit down with people I like, but I might respect their views and their opinions, and I'm open-minded in that sense.
And I'd
So
just like
going
to say
back,
one,
go
I'd
ahead.
like to say one thing that's
Yes.
important. People have to understand. Right away, they figure there's a thing, don't platform informants and stuff. It doesn't change how I feel, but something has to be done here when we have these shows. We can have our shows and just stay in one position and not grow, or we can have ideas. And James and I came up with an idea, and then James reached out to you, Dominic,
Okay.
and you reached back to us.
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to do. And this is going to be our format from now on. And it's pretty simple, people. I hope everybody stays here. But if you don't like the format, I respect your opinion, and you do whatever you have to do. With that, Dominic,
And you know that, Lee, it's funny that you say that. You can't please everybody in life. You really can't. And I've learned that even in the mafia, you couldn't please everybody. It's just not going to happen. But you know what? You guys have a good show. You're putting out good content. And that's why I reached out. When James reached out, I said, you know what? Because of the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
As long as you're fair, I'm okay with it. And you know my feelings, Sammy. I love Sammy. We have a relationship. Michael Franchise, I'm getting to know him. Another well-rounded guy, excellent guy. And I look at Mikey Scars too. Never met him, heard a lot of good things about him. But guys like us, and I'm going to keep the four of us in that category. We have stories to tell, to put out there. There's a lot of people that don't like what I've done, and I make no excuses. And again, we had a pre-recorded show yesterday I did with Lee and James. That'll be aired on Sunday on Lee's channel, so people go view that.
and that's an hour and a half interview that we're dropping on Sunday, where you get into everything. And
Yes.
we thank you for that interview.
No, you guys are welcome and you deserved it. But I clarify, and I'm going to clarify here today for your viewers, so I don't get that crippled from them. But in my life, especially with the murders, our first murder we killed that it wasn't authorized by Joe Messino, the boss of the crime family.
Right.
We basically, it's called sneaking it. We killed the guy because Vinny wanted this guy dead. And I'll go into it later on my podcast. But at the end of the day, he said, don't tell Joe Messino anything. If he asks, we didn't do it because that could get us killed. With that, weeks later, Vinny comes back to us and says, hey, I told Joe Messino. Joe Messina asked, and we said, why'd you say it? Well, I thought about it. The boss asked. But Vinny, this wasn't sanctioned. What do you think Joe's going to do? He's not going to yell at you and be upset and put you on point. He's going to tell you, Vinny, don't worry about it. It's okay. Then Joe's going to call Sal Vitale. Hey, Sal, this fucking Vinny, what does he think? It's his family? They just killed this guy without asking me. Vinny, Bruno, Dominic, get rid of them. Lure them in. And that's what's going to happen. If Vinny never speaks about it like he wasn't supposed to, we never get arrested. And, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking right now, but he spoke about something he shouldn't have. And I'm not going to go back into it. I could use so many excuses, but I took the coward way out. I'm not a coward. I took the coward way out to the easy way because I should have stood true to the game, but I just got disgusted with the life. I got disgusted with the treachery, the double talk, triple talk, and that was it. So at the end of the day, everybody deserves second chances. I had one. I think we could build something good here with Mafia Roundtable, with the Lee Cole show coming on. Maybe we'd do something once a week. We could touch topics. It could get heated. We could have great debates back and forth. And I'm good for that, as long as everybody's respectful at the end of the day. You could get heated. It might get a little disrespectful. But at the end of the day, I'm a man. When I say something wrong that's really offensive after I cool down, I'll be the first to apologize. And that happens because we're all human beings.
And I'm going to read you a couple things. You don't mind taking a couple tough
No,
ones,
go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is from Angel Gotti. And I'm going to be fair to Angel. Vinny is more of a man than you will ever be. That's from Angel Gotti.
Okay. Okay, what about her brother? Because Angel Gotti, you want to go there? What about your brother? And I have nothing against your brother. I actually testified in his case. So, and I'll just keep it at that because I really don't want to bury him because everybody knows what he did. Same thing I did. So, but, once you cross that line, you sit down with any law enforcement and they start writing a 302, you're ratting. Or even when you sit down with them and say, good morning, how you doing? Okay, let's get started. You're ratting. That's the way I was brought up. So there's no way around it.
And once again, that is coming from Dom. I may not agree with you, Dom, but that's
right
from you.
Thank
Tony Silo, I'm going to read it. He says, Lee, you are not a man of your word. Angel is a lady.
We just lost you, Lee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I hear you.
Buffered on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, Tony Silo says, Lee, you're not a man of your word. Angel is a lady. Yes, Angel is a lady, and I respect Angel. And Tony, if you don't think I'm a man of my word, I don't know what to tell you, man. I've decided to do this show, and it's like I said, people can either like it or not like it. But I respect.
You know what?
I respect what you have to say, Tony Silo. Thank you.
Lee, that's very good of you because, Tony, how short-sighted are you? Really? Like, what do you have blinders on? The world's one way? Can never be one way. Even what I did is not one way. What Vinny did is not one way. What John Gotti Jr. did is not one way. Everybody has their reasons in life. And if you can't respect something what Lee's doing, trying to help kids, because this is us just coming out, laying the platform. But when we start helping kids, when we start talking about the fentanyl problem in the United States with drug issues, Lee's wrong about that? Wow. Okay. So Lee, always think about that too, the good we're going to be doing. And then I like to see the haters come up and say, oh, Lee, I'm disappointed in you. You just saved 10 kids' lives because look they changed their lives. So Lee, but you were wrong for teaming up with Dominic and you just saved young kids' lives.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem, Dominic, with that. A lot of people believe like a guy like John A. Light came in here and said about saving the kids. And he just didn't do it. It was just a motto for him, just a saying. So what would be the difference between us? And that this is just something they're going to be thinking.
Right.
The difference between us and say John A. Light, who said I'm going to help the kids, but really there's no evidence that he ever helped any kids.
Okay. See, now all fairness to that, I tend to disagree with you on that because I know A. Light. I don't know what he has done outside of the YouTube. I'm sure he has. So I can't speak on that, something I don't know. But when he is talking sometimes on YouTube about it, so I did hear him talking about with the kids with the drugs. He is doing something. That is something. It might not be enough. It might to some people, but everybody categorize it differently. Even me, I did some motivation. So I did start. It's nothing. It's nothing to what can be done. And who knows, maybe A Light will come on too, where we join up, everybody get together. We should all get together, help educate the kids. Because at the end of the day, mafia stuff could only go so far. What have you done in life? I did a tremendous amount of harm to people. Tremendous. And one day I will answer for that. But right now, I'm at a point in my life I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable inside and outside, but I feel we have to give back. We have to help. We have to break down the dividers, especially the politicians. Come on. You're crippling people that elected you, put you into office. You're destroying us. You're destroying us, society. Go across party lines and stop the nonsense. Stop worrying about social media, what people think. You're here to help people. I'm gonna ask my team. Anybody has comments on that side?
Just talk.
Oh, okay. So if they
There's
want, they could
something-
start asking comments.
Yeah.
But
One
go ahead,
thing-
James, I haven't heard from you. You're being too
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, no. So I just wanted to explain something, if that's okay. So, so I just wanted to explain how this came together a little bit. And so, back in February, we had, when you came out, we didn't know, I didn't know much about you. Of course, I went and did research, and we talk about it a little bit in the on the interview we're doing Sunday. But basically, I'm no connection with the mafia. I'm just a mobologist, a researcher, and we went through a lot of documents and everything. And so, what happened was, so we put stuff out there. I didn't make up anything, but some of the things then I realized wasn't correct. I mean, people, and that's one thing I learned. Like, one of the sources was the biography that Anthony DeStefano did on Vinny Gorgeous. And so what happens is that these sources, a lot of them are biased, and for good, for bad, or whatever. And so
Right.
sometimes you don't realize that. And then I started looking at, going back at some of the comments and everything and that I had made, and then I looked, and I realized a lot about you when people laugh about it, but the way that you responded to the criticism with the rap song was genius, in my opinion, because most people would just either ignore, said F you or whatever, but you did it in a way, you didn't even name us by name, but it was what I call a diss track, in the
Yes,
rap world.
you're correct.
Yeah, they
And I
have
didn't
that.
even mean right.
And
For
that
Cole, I said coleslaw.
yeah, exactly. And I thought it was, but it was ingenious way of dealing with that. But then I started looking back at your life, and you have made changes. And I've listened to your show, and yeah, you ratted, all of that we know, but you've taken responsibility with it, and you have not made excuses. You're doing like kind of like what Mikey Scars is doing now. But what really made me realize, because I could see that you're a good business person, and the thing is that you're able to do well in the civilian world as you did in the mafia with making money, as a business person. And that's not easy. There's a lot of broke gangsters out there, and you weren't one of them. You were a multimillionaire, but you've changed. And what I wanted to point out is, what made me realize that is when I looked at the stuff that you were doing. You're not just talking the talk, you walk the walk, because you went to Pakistan, Guatemala, Sierra Leone. You were trying to bring water machines into countries that didn't have clean water. You were working with children in these countries. You were working with the St. Joseph School for Girls. You were doing things that um, it's proof. I saw it. You know, it's not made up. You all of the humanitarian efforts you are doing, and so when I see that, you know, it's like we all make mistakes. We all do things that we regret, but when we get a second chance, what are we going to do with it? And so you've been making the most out of that second chance, you know, with what you've done throughout the world to, in a humanitarian standpoint.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that, James.
Yeah.
Lee?
Okay. I wanted to just say, okay, I'm just going to get back to a point because you know what? People have some legitimate questions in here. I'm just going to get to them, Dom. One of them, okay, one of them is that I know you said that you like Sammy, and the biggest problem with Sammy, you know who Alan Kaiser is. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, but you could refresh my memory with that.
Alan Kaiser was a 16-year-old boy that was on his way home one night, and he was murdered by Sammy and Louis Melito. And because he witnessed the crime. And if you read his 302, Sammy admits that he murdered the kid. And then when Sammy did a video, he lied in the video and said the kid attacked him and tried to pull a gun out of his hand, and he called the kid a drug addict. He had no drugs in his body. He was shot from behind. And Sammy yet went on his show and put up a pretty hard lie. And I would say that would be like this, and that's a major reason people have issues with Sammy Gravano. And you know, I'm just going to run that by you one time. Just answer it any way you want.
I never spoke to Sammy about it. I did hear briefly, not about that. I never got into details with anything. I did hear about a young kid, but I would always give Sammy the benefit of the doubt. Only he knows how he felt, what happened. And I think he will address it. And from what I know with Sammy, he really doesn't pull punches. So I can't say what he said because I really didn't hear the testimony or the statements that were made. I'm not saying you're not accurate in what you're telling me, but
I'm just going by people are basically going by the autopsy report that said the kid was running away and was shot from behind.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to comment, but I could tell you this: Sammy is straightforward. He really doesn't pull punches. So I can't speak for him because I never spoke about that topic with him. But I'm sure Sammy will address it head on the way he feels about it. You know, sometimes accidents do happen, things happen, but I can't speak for him. But I can tell you this: Sammy will tell you when he's wrong, he's wrong. When he's right, he's right. You know, from what I know of Sammy. So I know he doesn't bullshit when he speaks. I'm not saying all of us, when we're looking back, you have to understand too, there's so many times, even in my videos, I'm like, guys, wait, let me go back because I'm just remembering things as I go. So, you know, you have to understand with me, it's like 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you're thinking of the story and then just little things. And I can give you for instance, I was talking about a fight I had in the Tremont section of the Bronx. Then all of a sudden I get offline and I'm going to keep it at Mr. C. And I'm like, I don't even know you, so how could you talk about me? And then he said who he was. I said, oh, okay. And then he told me what happened, that I was afraid of Steven DeLuca. And I was in the pizzeria. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall that. Then the next day, I text him back. I'm like, wow, you're right. I apologize. And I mentioned it on one of my podcasts. I said, you know what? I forgot all about it. So sometimes people, unless when people refresh their memory, and it took me a day to finally realize, he was right. He was there. He did tell Steven, you know, you better not touch that kid. Because Steven was much older than me. But, you know, sometimes we do forget things. We do forget certain aspects. And that was important that evening, and I still forgot it. until he brought it up to me. It took me a day to remember it. So, in all fairness to Sammy, I think he'll address anything with anybody. I know that he doesn't hide from anything, and then hopefully he'll never satisfy whatever comes out of his mouth, because you always have people that will always disagree with him and people that love him. And there's a lot of people that do love him. Look at his numbers; they go through the roof.
Okay. If you that's your answer, and we
Yes,
gotta respect it. I may
thank
not
you.
disagree with. I may not agree with it, but I respect the fact that you said before we came up here, Lee, you can ask me anything.
Absolutely,
I will take any
1000%.
questions from the chat. And let me tell you something, people. This 99% of these guys would not do this. That's the reality of it. And
Well,
whether
listen,
You're not
I'm
going to get
gonna
a made guy.
I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm here 3 months, a little over 3 months, and I started doing the lives. What was it, guys? 2 months ago, a month ago, I started doing lives right out of the box, basically. First show I had a piece of paper. Everybody ripped me, and it was just to keep everything in order. And within 2 months, I'm doing lives, and I'm okay with it because I'm not bullshitting anybody. I tell them the way I feel, but I'm not going to throw dirt on somebody when I don't know. Now, if I heard Sammy say something like that, or I heard him, I sat down with him, I'll tell it the way it is. I have nothing to hide. But knowing Sammy's character, I think he will address it. I can't speak for him, so I apologize with that one. But I know he's straight up. So, and that's all I could say. To me, great guy, 1000%. He's a legend. You have to give him respect for that. His age, what he's been through in the mafia, and without him, he basically, him, Michael, even A-Light, they paved the way for this internet genre with mob stuff.
it was
So,
actually,
thank you
yeah,
guys.
it was, believe it or not, it was John A. Light and Gene Barillo with
Yeah.
the John and Gene show.
Mhm.
We came here about a little bit over 2 years ago. Myself, FBS and MRE, we started, and it was very barren. There wasn't much here.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's a whole new thing. I'm going to
And
put this up.
God, I'm sorry.
Kelly, Alabama. First of all, I've never heard of you, so the odds are that you're someone that just doesn't like me and you change your name. But if you didn't, that's okay. Angel Gotti, I hope this is a wake-up call. Lee Cole used you. What did I use Angel Gotti for? Did I make money? Did I get some? No, it's not using people. This is my decision, just like Angel makes her decisions. We're adults here. And
You know what, Lee? If I may add, it could be also sometimes people grow. Maybe you were at a certain level with her, and I don't know the situation, but because people choose to go a different path or build or look to expound, and again, I'll go back. I mentioned to you guys, hey, I would like this. I would like you guys to come on, but let's show the world we can put our differences aside and help kids, help battered women, drug issues. Let's bring everything to a light, showing we see things differently. We don't care for what we did. You didn't care for what I did. I rather cool, but we put our differences. We'll put it to the side, sit at the table, and try to educate people. So if Lee's looking to grow, and so is James, to help people out there, wow, people, you got to stop that. People want to grow. Life is a stepping stone. People may be stepping stones at times. That's just the way the world is.
And Gary, I'm glad Gary brings us up. Lee, your diet and changes show the great work, and that's another thing we're going to discuss. The majority of people on YouTube are from 45 to 60. Yes, there's many people younger on here, but I'm talking about our viewers. If we look at our numbers, and I'm 62 years old, and I started my diet because I felt like I was going to drop dead. I don't feel that way anymore, and I've lost a little bit over 50 pounds. Dominic's a man in his 50s, and he's in phenomenal condition. We can go. James Proctor, he benches 400 pounds every night right before he goes to bed. And that's another thing we want to discuss: men's health. And I've been putting up videos of how I've been doing on my diet, and the response is great. I get thousands of responses. So, and a lot of people. One person, Dominic, wrote me an email. It felt really good. They said to me that they were a little bit younger than me, and that I gave them the incentive to start a diet too, because I see my fat, bloated face up here and
Hmm.
how bad I was pale as could be.
Right,
And
right.
when we talk about helping people, just getting that one person to say that to me really made me feel really good. And I'm hoping that you're still on the diet. I'm not going to mention your name, but those are the moments you feel good, is when you can reach out and someone can get something out of this.
Yeah, no, and it makes you feel good as a person for what you're doing for yourself, and it motivates you even more so when you do start getting the compliments or people tell you thank you. I had a guy, and it's funny that you say that, and I put it on Instagram. I had a guy in the gym tell me every time and he was a little bit older than me, and he says, every time I see you, you motivate me. And I'm like, why is that? Because I see your work ethic, how hard you work. You're by yourself. You just do what you have to do. You don't play around. You're in and out. And I said, thank you. And I left the gym. I was like, really, it touched me. And at the same time, inspired me even more so. So it's good. It's really good. So do we have any
Yeah.
comments, Lee?
Yeah. One of the things,
My,
on your
I
side,
think,
sorry.
yeah, good.
Do you have any comments from your side, Dom?
Yeah, Lee was just reading one. You don't even have your mic, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they don't. The guys don't have a mic. No, but tell them, no, I don't know them. So I don't even think they heard you. So, all
Yeah,
right.
we
Yeah,
didn't
no,
hear.
Well, there's
we have questions, but they couldn't hook up the mic because all the feeds here.
okay. Well, there's one question on there from Mr. Alaska 556 on your feed. And it
Okay.
says, it seems a lot of people, including Lee and his co-hosts, are very harsh towards Sammy about him lying and stuff. I think it's because he's an old man, he forgets. I disagree with that, Mr. Alaska, but you're entitled to that opinion. That's all I could say, because I'm kind of an old guy too, but not as old as Sammy. And you're right. You know, he does.
Listen, maybe we'll see. Maybe we get Sammy on here and he could, we could debate it. That's what the round table was created for. So, I know the man doesn't hide from anybody. He doesn't back down. That's for sure. So we'll see
Yeah.
if we
There
can get
was
him on. Lee, if you can to read my feeds, that would be great.
Sure.
Some of them. Thank
one
you.
of the things I was going to mention too. We've had a couple of people in our chat while Lee does that. They're talking about, what about Randy? So I guess they're talking about Randy Pizzolo, and
Pizzola.
so Pizzolo. And one of the things that I can say, and this is something I've noticed about you, and this is actually a positive though, and a lot of people may not know the story, but what I've noticed about you is that you tend to try to befriend or help the underdog a lot of times. And what I mean by that is, when people, like, people would be in prison and you would give them money for their commissary. No one else would do that. Or Randy, a lot of people, yeah, you were involved. Yeah, definitely involved in what happened, but you were about the only person that tried to help that guy out. You gave him all the chances in the world. So I didn't know if you wanted to address what happened
Yeah,
with
thank you.
Randy.
Thank you for that, James.
Yeah.
Well, all I could say with Randy was supposed to get killed 2 months prior. And I battled with Vinny back and forth. Vinny says, okay, I'm giving him a pass. But his exact words, tell this fucking kid to stay away from me. He comes near me, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Right.
And Vinny looked at me and, you're going to be the one taking him out. I says, I know that. I understand that. Thank you. But I think the kid, Randy's issue was his drinking and doing his coke. He became an Indian, a wild man, where and that's just a figure of speech. So
Well, he'd
please,
start
I
talking
take
too, and I
start
mean,
talking. He was the only
yeah.
killer. I mean, it
Mhm.
got back to Vinny. Vinny just had enough with him. He's going to make an example. And Randy knew that from day one when I met him. And you'll hear about it later on when I release the story. But,
Mhm.
I like Randy a lot. But just the alcohol and drug, and that brought his demise.
I want to ask you a question, Dom. You mentioned something about unsanctioned hits. Was that like a common thing when you were when you were with Vinny was there quite a few unsanctioned killings? I can't hear you.
Hey, are you there? I think he froze up, so he
Hello?
froze up. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
okay,
think
we're
he
back
froze
on.
up for a
Okay.
moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess with the feeds and everything, we're freezing up, we're buffering a little bit.
We're doing
But
the
with
best
the
we can.
unsanctioned hit with
Yeah.
Vinny,
Yeah, I mean,
all
unsanctioned.
Vinny's hits were unsanctioned. So Vinny was his Vinny. The Bronx was just a different animal. We did what we had to do. Vinny, I'm surprised Vinny got away with what he got away with his whole life, just because you're supposed to have permission from the boss. But then again, even selling drugs, everybody's selling drugs, and you're not supposed to be selling drugs. You could get killed by the boss. But the boss, if hey Joe, here's 100,000 every month. When Joe says, "Hey Dom, what are you doing?" Joe, you really don't want to know. I can't tell you. Joe will be like, "Okay." Meanwhile, he knows where it's coming from now, but you're giving him the money. The money's power, and that's what Vinny believed in. He always told me, Dom, one thing in life: make sure you give the boss a lot of money, and you'll always get the favor of the boss. So,
Yeah,
and
that's
the life
true.
wasn't created for that, but it
Right.
became that way.
Well, it just seems like that the life, just from hearing even stories the generation before yours, that there were the rules.
That's
He's
okay.
gone, but he'll come
We
back.
got our live. Keep
So,
talking.
yeah. So anyway, he'll jump back in. But point is that with the mafia, you have just there we go. And folks, we'll figure this out.
James,
Moving
we
forward.
heard you still. I still heard you when you were
Oh,
talking.
okay. Yeah, I'm just saying that in generation that the rules, that you have the rules of the mafia and they're great rules. They should be, but every rule just seems to get broken.
Right. No, it is. Everybody, that's what's sad about. That's what the downfall of the organization. Even more so now, it's even more of a disgrace. You have rats like myself. They're getting construction jobs in the city, and they're rubbing elbows with guys who never cooperate, mafia guys, because they're giving them money. So
Active
who's a
guys.
bigger hypocrite?
Right.
At least I'm standing here. I did what I did, and I make no excuses for it. But here
Right.
you're accepting guys like myself because I'm giving you money, and your boys are doing life in prison because of me, but you're taking my money. It's okay. Wow. That's a bigger disgrace. So I'm happy what I did. Because
Right.
if I didn't do what I did, that we were out there on the street, I'd be the one taking everybody out because I would never tolerate it. When I was living the life, I was 1,000% for that life. But times have changed. I've changed. I'm glad I made my change, and I'm in a happier place.
Dom, do you think
Good.
it's common that you have people now that are informants and are out there with active people pretending just taking their money, doing and accepting them, even though they are informants?
I think it's a disgrace to the life, to the code of Omerta. Like, here, you want to knock me, but don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And today's mafia is in that glass house. So
I'm going to ask this, Scott. Scott H says, without informants, we wouldn't have any knowledge of workings of the mob. Who are we to judge? What do you think of that, Scott's statement?
I think it's a fair statement, but I'm okay with people judging me. I'm all right with that because like I said, I did a lot of bad, and I don't make excuses. But I also did a lot of good too. I helped a lot of people when I was out there. I had businessmen, businessmen when I was in the life, they didn't even know I was in the mafia. And then when they found out, they were like, Dom, you always treated us with respect. You never shook us down. My motto was, I never shook down somebody legitimate.
Mhm.
And you'll hear about it in other stories. But what I did was, if they were doing things in the street, loan sharking, um, gambling on their own, what else? Selling drugs. Then yes, I'm going to look to shake them down and tax them because that's our business. You know. But if you're running a legitimate business, I had strip clubs where and I'm not going to mention it now. Never took a penny from them. I protected them and I paid my bills, but it was legit. Now, if they were doing something illegal there, then it's a different story. Big construction companies in Manhattan, same thing. Just give me the. I wasn't going to nickel and dime where I'm getting an envelope, $50,000, $100,000 a year from big construction company. I told them, I don't want your money. Give me a shot at the work. You're putting up high rises. If I could come in with the plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, carpenters, give me the shot at those contracts. Some of the contracts, lucrative. I'm making $1.5 million off the contract, profit in my pocket. So I get 4 or 5 jobs like that from these guys a year. That 100,000's dwarfed by making $5 or $10 million for myself and the crime family. So I always had a different focus on the streets and to make money, and that's what I guess got me successful in my quick rise. Also, I was creative. I
Here's
wasn't
another
the
que-
average thug out there.
Right.
Here's another question from Jackie Bonds. How would you feel if someone killed your son, Dom? Would you go after them?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I would. Do you want to talk about my son? I would take out their entire family. So, you don't want to go there with my son. So Jesus Christ could come down. I'm taking out everybody, or die trying. So you don't
So
even.
you're
go
being
there.
real, which is good.
I'm being 1,000% real, and I don't care what anybody says. Mess with my family, all bets are off.
Yep.
So you're going to see a side of Dominic that Dominic never saw before. So.
And I'm sure and in the mob, that's common practice. Brothers being killed and friends.
Well,
being
brothers
killed.
in the life, usually. I've never really.
Right.
I know there was talk about it, especially with the Bonanos, but those were people that were still in the life. I mean, the father and son duos. And it was just talk, and these were made guys in the street, the sons. And then there was talk about it. But all it was talk. Like, you can't hold somebody responsible for somebody else's actions. Somebody wants me, they have a vengeance for me, come for me. Yeah.
Bobby Styles says, if you were going to have them on, just ask tough questions and hold them accountable for their action. It's really not that hard. Bobby, you said it
Ask
exactly
the question.
right. Yeah, and we're putting up the questions here. And I want you guys to show me who else would come on this show and do this. I mean, and I will put up your questions. And he's not, you guys may not like the way he answers them, but he does answer them. And I may not agree.
Whatever tough questions you have, nasty ones, just refrain from the stupid ones. Really, I don't even want to talk about family anymore. So please, anything with kids or anything, I don't even, because it'll just get me. I don't want to start talking negative. I don't want to be one of these YouTube gangsters or tough guys. It's not me. And I apologize for that past statement, even though I know what I'll do. And I think people that know me, they know what I'll do if something happened to my
That's
family
okay.
members.
And we know the guy, and I don't think he was really asking to set you off. It was just a question that was, but yeah, I mean, but when you think about it,
but something like that sensitive when you,
shouldn't even be asked, But
okay,
yeah.
Moto Lee, the numbers in this live don't justify the kneeling. Let me tell you something about see, this show, our show, 90% of our numbers come after the show is over. Okay, so take a look at my lives and then you do that. And,
how many views people we have on ours?
And Moto, start a live. Let's see how you do.
Okay, go ahead, Lee. Wait, Lee, not you, Lee. I'm just going to say, speak up.
This is from Lee Cole's landlord.
Okay, Lee Cole's landlord. You hear him?
Lee Cole's landlord. Yeah.
Dom, I'm having a hard time collecting my rent. How would you handle a deadbeat tenant?
Start sending. Go on Lee's live. Give him a super chat. How much does he owe you? 500. Send him 500 for all the work he's doing here.
Send me some super chats, people, and can my wrenches put up my super chat, please? You guys haven't done that yet.
There you go.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention,
and he knows it's probably one of my people joking with that one.
No, that's fine. You know something. I look at the benefits of the show down the road.
Yeah,
Getting
definitely.
You know, we have 160 here in the middle of the afternoon, and let's see, you have 200. I think. Let me see how many you got. I don't even have your show live right now. You have 227. So we have 400
Okay.
people watching right now. So
No, I'd say, listen, this is something different. We're testing the waters. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. You know, if Apple didn't, test the waters with a phone, we wouldn't have Apple cell phones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there would just
exactly.
still be a computer like Microsoft.
Yeah.
So,
now,
Well, I'm looking.
I'm going to put up Gianni's a good guy. I have a lot of
Okay.
respect. I have a lot of respect for him. He's very straightforward with me, and I always consider him a good guy, no matter what he says. And I'll read tough ones too. It says, Lee,
Sure.
it's not about choosing another path, Lee. It has been on other paths he's been on for almost 3 years, and he said he would never do this again. You can't be mad about what people are saying. First of all, I'm not mad about what people are saying. And I'm going to be very honest with you, Gianni. When I started seeing that the people that hate rats are worse than the people they're going after, that had a lot to do with the way I think. You're not one of those people, Gianni. You're a very straightforward guy. But you have people on here that say they hate rats, right? But then they'll do shows attacking people and saying the most horrible things to people. You have people who are trolls that say they hate rats, but we don't even know who they are, and we're supposed to respect them. And then they'll do shows talking horrible things about you, and the people that you think are your friends are in the chat rooms agreeing with them. So think about that. And
Well said, Lee. Well said.
and this is my decision. Here's what you guys can think that I switched 3-4 times, but here's the great thing about it: you don't have to watch. Okay, that's it.
Miley, you had something to say? You have to speak loud.
A lot of the folks in the chat are disappointed with your choice to have Lee Cole as a guest. What was your motivation? And did you just give a platform to your critics, or are you changing your style?
I'm not changing my style. We're looking to expand. We're looking to hit different topics. We're getting together. We're just announcing today, but we're getting together to help kids.
Yes.
So if there's something wrong with that, to help women, if there's something wrong with that, to bring light on the fentanyl, the drug issues, if there's something wrong with that, the health issues, if there's something wrong with that, then you shouldn't be watching. Because I'm trying to better this platform.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting together with somebody who's against me or against what I did for a better cause. I'm sure. Right, you're against what I did in my life. But it's okay. It's okay sometimes to get together. People don't. I'm not going to satisfy everybody, and I'm okay with that. But you know what? I'm going to try something new every which way. And you never know in life. If it works, it works. If this thing doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I tried. And again, I'll use my statement from Tyler Perry. If people don't laugh at your dreams aren't big enough. So I'm trying to expand, grow, and build.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was going to
Go ahead,
mention.
wait, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
He has another. Go ahead, loud.
This is tell the truth. Why don't people talk about Phil, Lee, and Eddie? He was no joke, a straight up man. Not changed.
If I knew Phil, I would be talking about him, but I really don't know Phil. I heard things about him, but I really don't know him that well. I think Sammy knows him well, so I'm sure Sammy could.
They know each
We'll
other.
talk about him. Yes. Go ahead, James. I know you wanted to say
No,
something.
no. Only thing I was going to say was that one of the things that means a lot to me is giving back, and so that's that. A lot of people don't really know me that well. I do have. I'm a man of faith, and so I have a daughter that's autistic, and so she's went through a lot. When I was younger, I had problems with alcohol, and I got over it. I never was an alcoholic per se, but I did things I didn't want to do. But the other thing is that, I've been around people that have been sexually harassed. There's a fentanyl crisis. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. And that's when I talked with you, Dom, about what's going on in society, and then we're able to kind of combine our platforms to try to do something positive. I was all in for it because you're willing to go to bat for those issues that mean a lot to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And that's what I want to do. Listen, we could build this platform, have other people on, like the Mikey Scars, Sammy, Michael, but we'll all John A, like get together where we're talking about kids. We're doing a platform for kids, women, and then go our separate ways the rest of the week on our shows. This is just to help people, to bring light, to shed light on sexual harassment. That my wife was sexually harassed at work she went up against NBC. So we're still going up against them. They used their corporate veil where we couldn't get affidavits. We couldn't question. On the eve of trial, when we issued subpoenas, we broke that corporate veil. First two people we subpoenaed corroborated my wife even more so, and have the documented proof, yet a federal judge wants to throw it out, saying she has no corroborating witness. Of course she couldn't get corroborating evidence because they had the corporate veil up. Once we pierced it, we were able to move quick enough and get two people out of 30 witnesses to corroborate. My wife said even more so. So, this system stinks half the time. It's disgusting. But we're going to bring light to this. We're going to come out hard and heavy. And us together, listen, we're more powerful as a force with a big group coming out, talking about kids, talking about the drugs, talking about sexual harassment, talking about child abuse. We're more powerful as a group. And we could all put our differences aside to go for this. So people, don't knock what we're doing. Embrace it. Support it. Because one day it might be your wife. It might be your child. God forbid. At least we could be the voice for people and come at it straight ahead. So,
Jeff, you sit down. Crime. Good discussion here, guys. $10. Thank you, Jeff. That's appreciated. I just heard my phone ring on a couple cash apps, but I'm not going to pick it up right now.
Yeah, we can even have Jeff on this show too. Great guy. I love He's Fair. Even OC Short, another one. There's a lot of people we could get together on this platform. Everybody puts their differences aside for one day, even if it's one day a month. We all put our differences and we target a group. With all our views, all our followers, everybody combined, we can make a difference. That's what I want to do. So if people are going to knock you, Lee, James, myself, for what we're doing, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm going to get hot. I am getting hot. I'm starting to sweat.
And I'm going to give this, and I got to give this. Gene says, got to give Lee some credit. Without Angel, his numbers are taking a hit. 160 and alive, a low level for a channel this old. First of all, I haven't been doing that. Hey, Dom, I sent you my numbers for the last month. Did they look low?
No, you improved. Actually, you broke 10,000. Congratulations. And today, I think last night I looked, I broke 15,000.
Yeah.
So we're all growing, we're building. Thank you.
And 195,000 views this show had. It was our busiest month in 8 months. So Gene, get your facts straight.
And why is that? Because you started putting out good content. You started, even though you dislike what we did, people like myself, you were being fair about it. People don't, and I've noticed on the internet, they don't like the combativeness where people are always fighting, going at each other hard.
No.
I have a lot of people, Dom, don't get caught in that. Dom, don't get caught in this.
Yeah. We've grown every month the last 4 months, pretty much since Lee and I kind of reformatted the show, and every month it's a little bit higher and higher. So,
and we don't do lives, and that's the one thing. But not many people can get on here in midday and have 160 in their live, and I'm not, and we're not gangsters. We get up here just as regular guys, and the lives aren't our thing no more. But we put up stuff that people watch. And like I said, we had 195,000 views this month. And I want to thank you people that have been watching this stuff very much. Thank you.
But we'll be doing lives with Dom, and so that'll be weekly.
There, and I invite other people to come on. Listen, I could speak to people I know, and again, we pick up topics. I want to start expounding on topics where we could tabletop the mob stuff. We'll talk a little bit about it, but then go into heavy topics, what's going on in today's society. And that's what I want to do. And if people don't like it, just don't watch us for those topics. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I need to do something. I need to feel good about what I'm doing. And just talking about mafia stuff is not making me. I love it. It's fun going back here in the comments, the banter going back and forth. But I want to make an effort to help. And I think you guys agree. You want to do the same thing. That's why we're here today, to show to internet, the YouTubers, that it can be done.
We got your show running at the same time with our show. This is something that was researched, and Dom, your guy, actually is a very smart guy. I didn't think he was going to be able to do this. When he was saying, "Oh, I got a phone here, I got a phone," I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Next thing I know, not only did he do it, he did it quite easy.
Right. Well, what I'm going to do, if you want, guys, because I'm gonna, I guess after this, I'm going to probably take a little break and then go live again on myself just to see my audience, to accommodate. And I would advise you guys maybe do the same.
But we're gonna we're gonna stay on when you leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna stay on, and we're gonna make a full show out of it. We'll stay on.
Okay.
Answer questions from people in here, and
all right.
And we have the Sunday. Interview, and so that'll be at 12 o'clock on Sunday Eastern
Okay, yeah,
time.
people go watch it. I think it's a really good interview. I think, they asked me questions. James didn't get all his questions in because I get winded at times.
No.
But
well, it was from you growing up all the way to everything that happened with Vinny to your present life. It's a full interview, which we appreciate and we put up. And once again, people, if you don't want to watch an interview, don't watch it, because this is what this show is going to be about. We're going to put up people. That doesn't mean that we agree with what people have done. We're just trying to be like a journalistic show. That's what it comes down to.
Right. Well, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been an hour here. We really appreciate it, and we're gonna move on to we're gonna hang around for a while.
Okay, and I'm going to wrap it up. I'll probably come back on for my audience within a half hour. But thank you, gentlemen, and we'll be in touch, and we'll figure out what topic we're going to approach as far as our first one, whether it be kids, sexual harassment, suicide. We'll start engaging with that. But thank you again. Wish you guys the best, and congratulations with your subs and the way you're conducting your platform.
And congratulations on 15K as well.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right. Take care.
Okay, people, we're going to stay a little bit while. And listen, here's what it comes down to. I know people ain't happy, but it was a decision we make. We'll stick by our decision. Let me get this out of here. Kick from studio. Okay, it's just me and you now. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, guys, you want some questions? Be honest. Give me some, okay, even if you're pissed, but do it in a respectful way. Okay, Mobland. Lee, you done Angel dirty. Not right, Lee. She had your back. What do you mean, Mobland? I done, in which way? Because Angel does things the way she wants to do them. I don't always agree with her. I do things the way I want to do them, and she doesn't always agree with me. Okay? So, Mobland, I really don't give a shit what you think. Okay. Do you have a beef with Hootie Russo? I heard him dissing you on his show. Hey, God bless him, Ryan. I don't care if he disses me. Hootie Russo, who's he? I had him on here a couple of times. I interviewed him. He tells a fantastic story. Keyword story. Tough guy Sammy's afraid to come back in the neighborhood. Of course he is. I mean, these guys are all afraid to go back in their neighborhoods. Well, a majority of them, because you're always a chance you're going to bump into somebody that you do not want to bump into. Lee, that is the audience, not yours. Come on, stop taking credit for every. Oh, Gene, you're just a douche. But anyway, so what do you think, James? We're doing our show today. We had some people that had their feelings hurt, or what do you think about when you hear stuff like that?
Well, here's the thing. So we started this journey together, you and I, with this channel 4 months ago. And so we've been, trying to, up our game. We're trying to not be pigeonholed into um, where we can only talk about certain things or have certain people on. And so the thing is, this doesn't change. We don't agree with informing. We don't agree with that. But what we want to do is have uh, other people to see the show. We want to ask questions that's mob related to people that were in the life. And so if we have an opportunity to get a made guy onto a show, I don't see what the problem is. We're especially when we ask them tough questions. We're not saying, oh, it's okay what you did and everything. And so what's wrong with having
And,
good
and
content?
when we had that discussion about which direction we're going to take the show, and I came to you
Yeah.
and I said, was it something we just said yes right away, or we really had to think?
No, we didn't. It took us over 2 weeks to put up the Bobby Luisi video because we weren't, we really wanted to. It was tough for us to do this. It was not easy because of, our feelings on it. And, we had some disagreements on it. But, at the end of the day, if we want to grow the channel, if we want to, you know, make this something that is a legacy to continue, we have to broaden a little bit. That's just the truth, unfortunately. And you're going to like some of the people we have on, other people you won't. We're still going to go after people in the life that ratted and all
And
that.
we
We're
have a
just going to do
series
good
right now.
shows.
We have a series right now, and we're going to be working on a new guy where we talk about are these guys gangsters or frauds? And we got hit pretty hard last week when we put out a show on Ruggiano, was it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
we put a show out on him, and a lot of people didn't like our show because actually he's pretty popular. But we're going to do that. We're not going to change stuff. You know what it is? A lot of people around here, they don't have shows. It's easy for the people that don't have shows to be superheroes and hate rats and whatever. Okay. I hate the fact I don't like informants when they inform.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a journalistic view of the show, and this is how we're going to do our show. It's real simple, people. There's a button that says unsub, and there's a button that says sub. I hope you sub. But that's we're going to build shows here, and we're going to take risk, and that's it. And I have a partner, and I have to go with my partner, and we decide together. We are 50-50. It's not like 60-40. This ain't like Danny here when Danny Trillo used to show up whenever he wanted to. We talk every day. We work on our show every day. We spend time working on our shows that we put up. We put up a lot of stuff. We put up 4 or 5 shows a week. And we do that because we want to have people stay active.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something on here? So a couple of comments. So a couple of comments I want to address. Here's the deal. So we're still friends with Angel, so there's no issue with that. She doesn't like who we put on. We don't like who she puts on, but that doesn't affect friendship. The other thing is that you keep on saying that the word doesn't mean anything, what's being said, but this show, I came on the show and we're partners. I don't think people understand. I know Lee said, oh, we're not going to have informants on, but I wasn't part of the show. This is like a totally different show. When you have a co-host, what do? Do you just Go with
And you're not a co-host, you're a co-partner.
co-partner and
Okay,
a partner too. Yeah.
So when you have co-partners, you sit and you build a plan. We just had our best month ever because of the new steps that we've taken here.
Who is this Tony Spinelli?
Wait a minute. When we had Bobby Luisi, we did a video 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks before I put that show down. I even went and told Angel, I got Bobby Luisi. What do you think? And Angel says, well, if you do it, it's going to be a mistake. And she was right. We did it. And that's it. Now people are going to know what this show is about. And that's all there is to it. But this is like, remember people, I have a co-partner now. We're 50-50 down the middle. If I drop dead tomorrow, James Proctor will be running this show. It will be his show. That's it. That's all we got to say. But this ain't like Danny Trio. Danny Trio showed up when he wanted to, and yelled and screamed, and went and talked shit behind my back, and then went back to his show. That doesn't happen here. We don't talk behind each other's backs. We're actually friends.
We are.
Okay.
No, I don't donate to Tony Pizza.
Lee, did SoFlo show you paperwork on Berlin? Ask SoFlo. I'm not going to get into that, people. Paps needs gas money. If rats get exposed for their lies, it makes the hump channels look bad. They don't like that. Okay, how about, let me ask you a question, Paps. How about the channels that claims they hate rats, but then they attack people who aren't rats? How about the channels that say they hate rats, but then they attack people because they platform rats? How about that?
Did Robert have a question that didn't get answered?
I don't have no idea. What is?
He's saying that, what's your Cash App? Lee and I have the same Cash App. Just you donate to it's for the show, so I don't have a separate one. So was there a question, Robert? Uric?
The Cash App, wait, first of all, the Cash App is underneath the video. And the people in the chat, like David, Argo and stuff, I have not seen you guys put my Cash App up one time, guys. That's, you know, so if you can't do that, okay. And some of you guys that still have the wrenches disagree with me. Gravesend disagrees with me, but he's in two of our fantasy football, one football league, one baseball league. You know, people can disagree.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure if David had a question that we answered it, so I wouldn't. He said he gave a super chat or something, so I'm not sure.
David Cameron, only because we trusted you, Lee. Why are you promising things only to? I just explained it, David. But you know what, David? You have a wrench. Even though you disagree with me, you still have a wrench. See, I don't take your wrenches away because you may disagree with me. I take away your wrenches if you're just, you know, if you're like BK.
No, yeah, it's not about cash. Someone said they donated money, and I wanted to make sure the question was addressed. I mean,
ask him what the question was. We had two shows going at one time.
Yeah,
just ask him what the question was.
Yeah, so please, if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. And also, you know, there's criticism because you went into. So Robert said he sent $5 to the Cash App. Thank you for that. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, Robert, I just seen that.
You.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were talking about other people saying about why you went to
Gunsmoke. That's it. Let's not read the negative remarks. They got nothing better to do. They can go away.
No, but
okay,
we're neutral. That's it. We're neutral.
Okay. You guys can't control the past moves of others, and you didn't disrespect Angel. No, we did not. We will not disrespect Angel. We will not go in Angel's chat rooms and attack people either because they disagree. That's why I'm not in the chat room no more. I lost my wrench over there. I got fired. Okay. But I respect Angel for what you did. Lee is here to make a show, also make money, not best friends. He'll never meet. Oh, yes. That's the thing, people. On YouTube, the big word is we're friends. You'll have people that don't even know each other, but yet they'll act like they're best friends. That's not the way it works, because the people that you don't know them, if you met them in real life, how do you know you would even like them? Gravesend, I'll talk to you in a bit about the fantasy legs.
Yeah. Hey, I turned off my camera just for a second because there was some problems with the connection, but I'll turn it back on maybe in a minute.
Mike Wall, of course I remember the Naked Eye. It was in the combat zone. And that was Teddy's club. Okay. I'm trying to catch up here, people, so I'm going through some of these. Okay, DP says 99% of you people have been involved with crime or anything close to it, so relax. With this hardline stance about not being okay with platform rats, this genre wouldn't exist. DP, I don't want to agree with you, but unfortunately, I gotta agree with you. The reality is, you're right. You know, it's you have to make a decision at sometimes on what you're going to do, and sometimes you may not like the decision. But if you're here building a business, if you're building a brand, you have to do what you got to do. You know, there's people on here that aren't building a brand, and they run around saying, I'm anti-rat, and they're in chat rooms attacking everybody. But the reality is, they have no brand. They got nothing. All they got are big mouths. And the chances are, if you met them, you'd laugh at them. That's just the reality, people. Tough guys that hate rats, but they won't show their face. Okay, let's see what else you guys want to ask questions. Ask away. I'm trying to catch over.
It's hard to keep up with the chat room, you know.
You get impeached is the sitting president of the Lee Cole Financial. Okay. It was very sad yesterday that we had the president of the United States that was in front of his troops at the Air Force Academy fall down while walking on flat ground. What a joke this has become, people. When your president cannot even walk on level ground. And
what was the stuff out there?
If you look at the soldiers in the background, most of them were smirking. They thought it was a joke that this guy is sitting there. He cannot even walk on the flat ground. He gets lost on stage.
Yeah.
You know.
What were the sandbags there for? Do you know why they were there?
Trip over a sandbag. They just said that.
But I don't even know why it was there for. It was weird.
Yeah, there was no sandbag. If you watch him walking, he did not trip over a sandbag. That's the excuse they're giving afterwards. There's no sandbag.
Yeah, it looked like the sandbag was in front of the stage, not at the side.
That's what they're saying now to cover up for him.
Oh, okay.
Sean, how you doing? I'm glad you came and showed up. Thank you. So exactly how do you guys plan on helping women and children? We're going to have shows on suicide for one. We're going to talk about men's health, and we'll see what we're going to do. You know, these are all plans going on right now that we're working on, and watch and see.
Yeah, and part of it is that we want to, you know, a lot of our audience, our biggest demographics like 40 to 60, and so we're trying to find ways to be able to help, like, you know, men at that age as well. So we're trying to find ways that practical help of people as well, you know, health and fitness and, you know, eating right, all that stuff. And, you know, we're just want to try to do some positive.
Okay. Someone wants to know, boss, I just blocked him, but he says James has blinked once in the last 45 minutes. James, do you have a blinking disorder?
No. I wear contacts. I don't know. I mean, I
No,
just
that's just that. No, that's just some scumbag loser.
yeah.
Probably JC. Friend is used too loosely and used by FBI because well, listen, it's used by everybody. You know, it's used too loosely. We're all guilty of it, where we think that we're friends with people that we do not know. I've known this guy in the chat for a year now. We're like best friends. How many times do we hear that crap?
Right.
If you met these people out in the street, you'd be shocked. The way that we perceive somebody in our head isn't the way they are. At least when you see myself or Angel or FBS or so forth, at least you know what you're getting. You see us. This is who we are.
Yeah.
They tear our backgrounds apart. Everybody knows everything about my background.
Yeah. I just don't have any. I just don't have any desire to be fighting with different sides or saying, oh, well, we need to be on this side, be on that side. Why don't we just do our own thing? That's what we decided. Why?
We have the Lee
Yep.
Cole James Proctor side.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And if you want to watch that side and enjoy our shows, we thank you.
Yeah.
And
I just don't think you have to follow other people, say, oh, well, there's this side that we have to join. I just don't think we have to. So, we're just going to do a normal, regular
there's
show.
a good question I'm going to. Tony Spinelli, Lee, what percentage of money would you pull in towards suicide prevention groups? Tony, we wouldn't pull it in. We would have people send it to the actual group.
Yeah, we don't want to touch money.
Nothing to do with money whatsoever. Okay? So that's where, and people should not send people here money unless they want to. And we wouldn't use an organization to ask you for money.
Right. Yeah, people are asking about like Rob Rosso, and I just posted the other day or a couple of weeks ago, I just posted how to do it. I don't want to get in the middle of money because, I'm very, we don't want to be in a position where someone thinks, oh, wow, we gave them money to send to this person and they just kept it or whatever. We don't want to get into any of that nonsense.
And Rob Rosso, just so you know, it doesn't look good for him. He wanted to go to a rehab and he was turned down. They want him to do his time. But if people, and if you want to find out where Rob is and you want to help him, contact James and he can give you the information. Right, James?
Yeah. There's a couple of ways to do it. So I think I posted on here before, but yeah, I'll put it out there. But anyway, he's got a court date on the 14th of June. And so that's going to be a decision by the judge what happens, how much time he is. I keep on hearing 2 years is a possibility, but who knows? It could be. It sounds like the judge is not very happy.
Like 2 years. It sounds like 2 years.
Yeah. He had 8 years left of probation.
Yeah.
After he had 10 years when he got out. He's been out 2 years, so he had another 8. So he, in theory, could go back to 8 years. But my understanding is that he might be going back to Terre Haute, I believe is how you call it, in Indiana, the medical prison. So we'll see what happens on the 14th.
Which is a little bit easier for him to go back into a medical prison. It's better than because he does have several health issues.
Yeah, he does. Bladder cancer, tumors come back a lot. So yeah.
Okay. Hey, Tony. I just did something for you, Tony. Okay. Okay, this says, how about the anti-rats? All they do is wake up, eat, sleep, and breathe rats all day long. These, you know what, Randy Marsh, you hit it right on the button. You hit it right on the button. Don't get me wrong. There's people that don't like rats, but you have people that like live it all day long. And they're online. I hate rats. I hate rats. And then they attack people that don't agree with them. I went through this. You gotta see the shows that they did and the horrible things they say but they would never say it to your face in person or show their face. They're cowards. And that's all they are. It's easy to do shows and be tough. Meet
Yeah.
someone to their face and say it, or call them on the phone and talk to them, but they won't do it. See, people need content for their shows. So what they do, instead of talking to that person, they do a show on that person.
Yeah.
You'll never see us do that. We came on here with Dom today. You don't think that we knew we were going to get smacked around a little bit?
Yeah, we knew it. But I felt that, I was willing to take the risk. Lee was. We just felt that if we weren't to expand the show, do more stuff, have more of a reach, then we had to do it. And I just, for me, like in the history of the Mafia, being able to at least talk to someone that's been in that life, an actual made person, and then having associates like Frank, that was great. I mean, seemed like there wasn't a lot of problems with Frank Fiordolino, right? When we had him on, we didn't get much blowback.
Oh, we did. I just don't tell you about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
we did. Yeah. It's usually the same group of guys that go around calling themselves tough. Or you'll have one person with 5 anti-rat accounts, and we know I know one person that literally has 5 anti-rat accounts.
Yeah.
And
but we just want to know about that lot. I think the normal viewer of this show wants to be able to understand that life. A lot of people soak up everything that's about Mafia, and we could just talk about it ourselves. I mean, we're not in that life, and even though we study it, don't we want?
It's our job to make sure that these guys that are rats, that are informants, come on here, that they're telling the truth.
Right, and we will call it out if it's not. And
that's our job, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do both sides of the aisles here. If you people don't, that's it. And we've been doing it. Even when I was calling out rats, I was still being insulted by the supposed rat haters, because they are never happy. They're trolls, and the majority of them are trolls.
Yeah. So we want to do a lot of investigative reporting. We're building up databases of people to content, with the media and different things, and so we're trying to be serious about this. And so, we'll bring on people from law enforcement. We'll bring on people from the Mafia. We'll bring on, all types of people. We've tried. What's funny, guys, is that we brought in 2 people that in the last couple of weeks that have more subscribers than Dominic and like Matthew Cox, right? He has 100,000 subs, but no one really wanted to watch it. We barely got 1,000 views on that video interview, and he's a big name. And then even Chad Marks.
No, we did okay on Chad. We did good on Chad Marks. The reality is people here don't really give 2 hoots about true crime. Right. If they want to go to true crime, they'll go to the true crime community.
Yeah.
And this is what we do. We try to expand, and if it doesn't work, we stop doing it.
Right. And that was the point I was making. We're trying to do things that hopefully will bring entertaining shows and, stuff that you guys will want to watch. I mean, that's all we're doing. We're trying, and, not everything's going to be perfect. We'll make mistakes, but we are trying to bring a good show to everyone. We want this to be a great community.
Okay, let's see what else we got. Yes, you're absolutely right. Some people have had their lives ruined by rats.
Exactly.
So what does that mean for B1? I respect you a lot, by the way, and I'll take care of that wrench thing. Thank you. You're absolutely right, and no one's here saying otherwise at all. I mean, I just did a show, and I asked 2 tough questions. I asked about Alan Kaiser, and so none of you other people that are bitching and moaning would have been able to get Dominic on and ask him that question. Because you don't have shows. You're tough guys without shows. That's all you are. Not you be one, but in general, I'm talking about a lot of these guys that run around. Oh, hell rats. I literally know one person, and I'm not going to say who the person is, but they have 5 accounts. They're all anti-rat accounts, and that person pretends that they're all 5. And we know that this person is not anti-rat. This person is a very evil person that does a lot of mean things to people. Evil things. But that person has 5 anti-rat accounts. Think about that. English breakfast. Michael Francis is quite a con man. Good for him. People love to use. Hey, listen, he has his hustle. You can't take that away from Michael Francis. He has his hustle. These people feel deep down they would rat, so they project.
Yeah. What do you guys think about, when you look at the people that Dom ratted on? Just curious what you guys think. Do you think that that if it wasn't for Dom, that Vinny would have been able to get off? Do you think that Dom was the reason he went to prison? When I look at the paperwork,
they got to take with Joe Messina. There's no way he's getting off.
That's a problem. Is, man, that family. I'm not making excuses for any of those guys, but man, that family was decimated, especially when Joe decided to cooperate. And then, but Vinny was sunk. It was like John Gotti. When you get on tape like that, you just don't have a chance. So, I don't. The people that, like, even he testified with on John Gotti Jr., and that was just one part, supposedly a conversation between him and, between Vinny and John Jr. And we kind of said that, some of that didn't make sense to us. And so, we're willing to hit some of the things on it. But, I do think Dom has tried to make some changes.
I'm going to read this Will Moss thing.
Yeah.
The anti-rat people always bring up the families they got when that got hurt when they ratted. But they don't say anything about the families that got hurt when stand-up guys killed people. Hypocritical.
Exactly.
Will Moss, that is one of the arguments, but, I still don't think that that's a reason to use that argument against people who turn information. I really don't. We know that the mafia world is a very dangerous, ugly world, and a lot of innocent people were killed, whether it's children, innocent people. We can name that all, but we do know what being a mobster is. That's part of being a mobster. Why do people come on to mob genre and listen to OC Shorts and all those shows? Because I find them really interesting.
Yeah, they're fascinated by it.
Yeah, they're fascinated by it. So people that watch those shows and go, oh, but mobsters kill too. But then why are you hearing the mob genre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? What's funny is that for me, what's interesting about Dominic is that, as a historian, it seems like we have a lot, the Gotti years, like from the 70s, 80s, that part was very documented. And so, I felt that, the Paul Castellano hit, how many times are we going to talk about it? Right. But then, that post Gotti era of the mafia, we really didn't have much out there until, people like, Frank and now Dominic. And so for me, it's, as a historian, it's refreshing to be able to get perspectives from people in the life in that post Gotti mafia, because it was definitely totally different than what we saw in the 70s and 80s.
Well, in the 70s and 80s, the guys that didn't rap are totally different than the guys that did rap.
Oh, yeah, totally different.
You can't compare anybody who's given that's actually flipped to John Gotti.
Right.
That's just the reality of it. whether
Yeah.
people like to hear that or not. It's just the reality of it.
Right. Yeah, you didn't get it till the 90s where Rico finally was able to, well, I guess the mid 80s. It took them about 15 years to figure out how to use Rico.
Rico was started in the 1970s.
Exactly, but the
Yeah.
government didn't know how to really properly apply it until the mid 80s, was what I was saying. And so when that happened, that made a lot of changes. And today I don't know how the mafia can survive with cameras
They
on every
can't.
corner.
Yeah, Robert Urick. First of all, Robert Urick, thank you for that donation. James and
Yes,
Lee,
thank
Matt
you.
Cox was a good interview on your show. I saw Matt Cox on David Patrick over 2 years ago. Matt was definitely an intelligent criminal. That yes, he did. And you know something, Robert, I'm glad you put that up because we didn't get great views on that, but we got great watch time. People
Oh
that
my
watch
God, that's
that,
like our best watch time ever, wasn't it?
one of our
28
best
minutes,
watch-
eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Rennie Marsh says, would you rather be murdered by your childhood friend or ratted on? They've been using that one a lot. Either one is just as bad. I mean,
Yeah.
one's going to put you in prison for life and the other one's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, none of these guys are saints. They're all bad people when you look at it. Anyone going into that life. And so, you look at morality, it's none of them were moral. And, I'm just not willing to take a black and white stance. There's so much shades of gray and stuff. And I
I'm
don't
gonna put this
know.
up. Johnny Bradford, OC Shorts put out accurate content. You don't. You actually believe a 5-year-old Di Matteo was in Joey. No, he couldn't. He wasn't 5 years old at that time. He was 20 years old in Joey
Oh, yeah,
Gallo.
Frank.
Let me finish.
He was
Let
a
me.
teenager.
Okay. He was actually in his 20s. So what are you trying to say? He wasn't 5, so that means right there you got it wrong. That means, Johnny, that means you are getting your facts wrong. So give us his exact age, then come back with a complaint. Okay.
I do want to say that I need to find the name. I can't find it, but I'll bring it up in a second. But there was something I wanted to bring up about a fraud that's being platformed. He was a boxer saying that he was the son of Anastasia.
Yeah. Welcome to YouTube. Another one.
I mean,
we
he
see
was a
him-
boxer, but he was not a.
He's a boxer. We know he's a boxer. That's it.
Oh, and he's
You know what
saying
you
that
do?
he was
Take
named
the
after
blood test.
Rocky. Yeah.
Come on here and show evidence with a DNA test. That's what. If you don't have a DNA test, it means nothing. It's like what's his name knocked up this young girl.
Michael Jordan. You're
No,
talking about?
no.
Oh, okay.
No. So you got Al Pacino knocked up this young girl, right? 29 years old.
Mhm.
But you know what he did? He didn't believe the baby was his, so he had one of those inside tests done on the baby.
Right.
And it is his. But at least you got to give Al Pacino his credit. He wanted to make sure the kid was his. Or you could do what Blakely did to Robert Blake, purposely have a baby by him, not realizing that she was having a baby and screwing over a crazy man who killed her and got away with it. Robert Blake.
Yeah.
Correct.
Jack
Parasite-
O'Halloran is who it was. Jack O'Halloran.
Parasite Slayer, I love this. The whole compassionate release thing for murderers, I disagree with. You know what, Parasite? I never had any views on it until I seen the way, and I'm just being honest, is the way Convict Inc. acted. He got compassionate release, and because he was in prison for so long, they didn't release him right. I think that if they're going to release somebody, they have to do it correctly. They just can't open the door and send him out of the prison and tell him to go live with their, home to his wife. Because the guy wasn't cured. He was doing drugs in prison. He was drinking in prison. The day he got out, he had a beer on the first day and bragged about it. And anybody could see that was heading in a bad direction. They do need to be screened better, without a doubt. The compassionate release really does. And don't get me wrong, people, you got older men in prison, 90 years old, dying. They shouldn't be left there. They just send them home. But the feds don't.
We as taxpayers shouldn't be paying for it,
Okay. Will Moss, they want their elderly family members released where hypocrisy with a real crime is only punishable. Well, listen, I believe that if you did something so dreadful, like I'll give you an example, Casa. There's a man that did not deserve compassionate release. That word compassionate and gas pipe should not be used in the same sentence. Tommy Patera, same thing. These guys are brutal killers. They've done horrible things. They're locked up, and under no circumstance should they be allowed to walk out to prison. That's just my opinion on that. Okay. Well, people, we've been on for like an hour, 40 minutes. Let's. Oh, Johnny Bradfield comes back with fact. D'Amato, DiMatteo was born 1956 and according to his own words in his books, Joe Gallo was killed in 72. That would make him 14.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not 14. That would make him 16.
He was 16. He was a driver back then.
And
he wasn't a mobster with them. He just hung out with them. He never
he
said
knew
he
him.
was. Yeah, he just knew him in the neighborhood.
And his father definitely worked. His father definitely worked for him.
Yeah.
You got to remember, these guys are all from President Street, most of them.
Yeah, it was Ricky that was really with him. He drove him around a little bit. He never said that he was in that gang and at that point in time doing crimes with them. I mean, he did he never admitted that. He just said he drove him every once in a while. Guy was 16, but that's all. It was more of his dad was in it, Ricky.
Okay, people, I'm going to call it a day. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. James, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
And everybody, please sub to the channel. Please hit the like button. That's very important. And the reminder button. And remember, if you hit the reminder button on your cell phone, there's a good chance it's not going to go through. And I've been reading that there's something that has to be adjusted in your cell phone before you hit the reminder button. That's a lot of people always say, well, I don't know what's happening. It's the phone. It's usually because you're doing it by phone. Just so you do know. Everybody take care. I appreciate whoever came here and have a nice one. Take care, people.
Have a nice one. Thank you.